welcome back. So I am so happy to let y'all know that now I am an affiliate with Northeighty. Now this is a vinyl company that I have done a lot of work with her as far as using her vinyl, because she has some amazing, beautiful, one-of-a-kind designs that are available on her website. She does have an Etsy store, but now she has a website. On the website, if you go on the website, you can use my link down below, or you can just go to the website and use Paxton10. You will get 10% off. I'm so happy to be able to provide that for you guys so that you can experience some of these gorgeous designs. Now, I have used her designs in the past, like I said, but this one is the new Christmas version of the gingerbread houses. I received these gingerbread men sprinkles from Peachy Glitters, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to use this vinyl with these gingerbread, and I'm going to make a cool drip cup like I did last year, but this is a whole new version of it. And then I also had to add a little bit of the drip on the bottom so that it looked like it was either sitting in snow or sitting in some frosting that you dropped on the table. Anyways, I really hope that you enjoy this, and I'm so happy to be with Northeighty now, and I'm so happy that I can bring y'all a discount code. I will be showing so many of her designs in the future, in the new year 2023. I'm so excited that y'all are here. I'm at 6,000 subscribers, and I can't tell you what that means to me. It really means so much, and I literally would not be at 6,000 if it wasn't for you guys. So I love you very much, and thank you so much for all of your dedication and your devotion in watching my videos. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off with a 20-ounce handled mug from Craft Haven. Now, I just used just a bit of this vinyl here. I just kind of measured it and cut it off. And I am just going to wrap this in this vinyl, and I'm going to go straight into the drip, because you do not have to, you know, cover this up or anything like that. If you're just going to be doing some kind of epoxy drip, or just putting epoxy over it is fine, but there is really no need. It's just going to be a real simple vinyl wrap, and this vinyl is strong enough to take that drip on it, no problem. I've done a lot of vinyl wraps, especially with handles on here before. I'm sure you have yourself. I did cut off a strip of that vinyl right at the end there so that I could use that for the handle. Now, I wasn't going to go ahead and just do a whole wrap on the handle, but I did want to kind of cover it up, because the whole point was just to kind of show you how easy it was just to do a simple wrap, cut this around the handles, and then put something over the handle itself, and then we go right into that drip. I am going to take my vinyl cutter trimmer thing from Cami Page Boutique and use that to cut the bottom. We are going to add a drip, if you will, on the bottom that's going to be kind of covering that piece, so I wasn't too worried about that, you know, being cut you know, too high up or anything like that, because we were going to go ahead and cover that up. And this is where I used that little strip that I kind of cut off. I just used that just to kind of cover up that top part of that handle. It didn't cover all the way around, but that was fine. It was just I just needed a little something to kind of blend it in with the rest of the tumbler. I don't go into epoxy mixing very often in my tutorials. I don't really have an epoxy that I use on a regular basis, or, you know, I guess that I have an affiliation with or anything like that as of right now. And so I just thought I would show you. I am just using some amazing clear cast from Alumilite that you can get anywhere. I think you can't get it at Michael's anymore because they got their own epoxy. But here I was going to use about 20 milliliters, maybe 15, maybe 30, 20 or 30, depending. I just put in the side B first, and then I go in with side A. And I did heat up side A because it helps with the, it just helps kind of cure it a little bit faster. And when you're doing the drip, I mean, you don't want it to like fast cure, but you do want it to kind of get a little bit thicker so that you have that, so you're not having to sit there forever and having to wait for that drip to, come to fruition where you can put it on the tumbler. And I added some mica that I got from my aunt a long time ago, but any kind of white pearlescent, type mica will work fine. I did add some of the acrylic paint because I wanted it to have that royal icing feel and look to it. So I wasn't too worried about it even being super, super white either. I wanted it to kind of have that frosting, creamy white look to it. And here I'm adding nice and thick. Now, like I said before, on the last video that I did where we did a drip, was I just kind of add it to the point of like, okay, I know that if this is about as much as I want to add, and then if it doesn't start getting thicker faster, or if it just doesn't feel like it, then I'll add a little bit more nice and thick. So it just depends on, you just kind of have to work with it on a few occasions just to kind of get a feel for exactly how much you need for it. I did put some painter's tape on my pool noodle there and put some grip on there just so that it will not fall off, because it was a little bit thicker than the other 20 and 30 ounces. And also so that I wasn't going to be getting a bunch of epoxy on where that drip was, because it's going to get kind of messy at this point, right? So you are going to start putting it kind of all over that rim and pulling and spreading and that kind of thing. So I just didn't want to get it all over my pool noodle. So I just made sure that I put some painter's tape on there, and just to make sure that we don't have anything that gets stuck to anything else, and then we have to pry it off and, peel it off or whatever. So anyways, I went into the drip here, and I am just kind of holding it at an angle at this point because I don't want too much to drip, and I want to make sure that we are getting that the drip isn't going to go too crazy at this, very moment, because I do want it to drip a bit, but like I said, I'm just going to kind of ease it on there, put a little bit on there, and then go from there as far as how much more I'm going to add and kind of get that perfect looking drip that we're interested in. So at this point, I have put just kind of a base on there, and I'm not seeing very much movement, which is fine. I'm fine with that, because what I'm going to start doing is adding more and more of the epoxy drip, that we've created over on top of what I have already put on there. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to look like it's doubling up on itself, but it will even out. I promise. I've done this plenty of times where you're like, oh no, I don't think I like this, but it will even out. If you want a double drip, if you want something that looks like that, you're more than likely going to have to let this cure and then go in with another drip on top of that in order to get that look. Because even when you do like it and it's like, oh, it's a double drip, it's kind of cool looking, I like that, it'll even out more than likely. So if you want to get anything like that, it's better just to do it on two separate occasions, kind of thing. So anyways, like, I really sped this up because it's really honestly the same exact thing that I did on the first one. I'm just adding a little bit more, adding a little bit more, adding a little bit more, and I'm letting it drip, and I'm just making sure that it's not dripping past any particular point. I wasn't going to do any kind of decal on this, but I still didn't want it to be like dripping all the way down to the bottom of the tumbler. And so I just spent a little bit of time putting it on the rim, adding on to some of the drip that was already there. I did add some to the handle. I just think it's kind of cute just to kind of involve the handle in the look of it, just because naturally if there was something dripping, it would drip on the handle. So anyways, I just continued to, this is getting really sticky at this point. You can tell that you kind of have to pull it out of the cup, and you're like twisting it around because it's like really stringy and everything at this point. So there comes a time when it gets really hot or it gets just way too sticky to deal with, and then that's when you kind of just know that, like, okay, I've got to start wrapping this up. Or is this all I want to do? Have I come to my point of do I need to heat this up a little bit? That kind of thing. It just is all in, art and what you want it to look like and what you want it to feel like and be like. So don't think that there's any right or wrong here. Just that, I'm just giving you the best tips that I know for things that I have done. And if you want to get that same kind of feel. So as you can see right now, it does look like there's kind of like double drips going on here, but I promise you it's going to even itself out. As I put it on the turner, one, because I just wanted it to stop dripping, and two, because I wanted to be able to put these little gingerbread men that I got from Peachy Olive Glitters. I just kind of wanted to be able to see where I was putting them and placing them. I wasn't able to just drop them on there, so I ended up taking my little tweezers here and just kind of placing them in particular spots. But as this spins, as this goes around, you'll see that that double looking drip will definitely even out, and everything kind of evens out in that sense. But to put it on your turner, unless you're just really looking for that ultimate drip look, is the best way to kind of lock down what you've been working on and how the look that you've created. So I used these little bead things, these little balls, these little pearl things, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. I got them at Michael's, and they were just in a little jar. And I used these in my Witch's Brew. I mixed them into the epoxy. But what I wanted to do with these was I wanted to give it the look of like candy, or like those sugar little candy things that you can put on there. So that was kind of what I was going for as far as the look here. Snow, something along those lines. And I thought that it added just a little bit of fun, reality type of look to it, I thought. So I just added those on. And because of all of that epoxy that was on that tape and that was coming off of the rim and going in there and all of that, I went ahead and took that tape off of there before we got into the really good curing process. So after that cured and all, got ready to go, I was like, okay, I'm going to go into my coats of epoxy. And I wasn't going to put very many coats of epoxy because I already have a lot of epoxy at the rim of this tumbler, and we're going to be doing a coat of epoxy on the bottom. But I wanted to make sure that we were covering up that vinyl, that we're sealing in that drip, everything, sealing in all of the sugar pieces and the gingerbread men and all of that. So I just went in with a coat of epoxy, and then we're going to go into our bottom drip, which is going to look like it's sitting in frosting or in snow or something like that. I just thought it really could use this little piece, and I really enjoy these bottom drips. I don't know if y'all do. Hopefully you do. Maybe you can leave me a comment and let me know if I'm crazy or not. Anyways, hopefully this inspires you to do something along those lines with a bottom drip. I think it's kind of a cool little thing. So, and it really honestly is so, it doesn't cause it to wobble or anything, which you would think it does, but it actually sits quite nice on the counter or on the table or whatever. So anyways, challenge you, and let me see what you got. And this whole process was exactly what I did in the very beginning, just so you know. So everything that was done on the top was done on the bottom here. So, and then I also went over it in my video last week because I did the same drip. As you can see here, I cut that out, but I did do the same drip on both of these tumblers. So, which is at the same time I was doing the drip, I did a little bit of that snow that was adrift on the frame of the one last week. Anyways, so I just, the one thing about the bottom one I will have to say is I use a little bit more nice and thick because I do not want it to go down too much. And then as soon as I get done with all of this, I am going to put it on my turner so that it can even out and stop running down in the cup, and so that it has just that right kind of amount, and it's just covering exactly where I want it to and giving me the proper look for what I had in mind. And then once I that cured and everything was fine on that, I went in with a final coat of epoxy. Now I probably would need to do a little bit more sanding and just kind of even it out a little bit, and knock off some little, different little air bubbles or things like that happen. But other than that, we are done. And there she is. I love that we just kept this just to show off that beautiful Northeighty vinyl with those gingerbread houses and just with the drip. I just think it is so much fun to have this. It just gives you a real festive feel about the time of year and all of that. And I think the gingerbread just really kind of gives you a cozy feel as well. And then I like the simplicity of this. There's no decal, no nothing, just the simplicity of the drip and just kind of giving that house, just sitting around and building those gingerbread houses with your mom or your grandma, which I used to do. So anyways, very nostalgic for me. So, but I hope you love it. And please join my Facebook group. Please like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this inspires you. Please check out Northeighty. I do have a discount code. Everything's linked down below. I'll see you next time.